Hey everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. How are you guys today? I am very excited to be with you and I hope that you will enjoy my video today. We have a rather quick card. It is a card that I've cased from our mini catalog, and every Wednesday on my blog I do case the catalog, which means that I show you guys that you can take cards that are in our annual catalogs, mini catalogs, and brochures, like a celebration one, and you can copy them, and you don't have to come up with the ideas yourself, but you can make what you see. So I have chosen to case a card on page 14 of the mini catalog, so let me show you that rather quickly. So we'll flip to page 14 here. And this is the card that I have chosen to case. It was stamped with the Flowering Tulips bundle, and they used some of their beautiful designer series paper, as I've done here. And they actually have a die cut that they have in this background, but there was no die cut for this stamp set that I chose to use, so I used ribbon instead. I have the circle just like they do, and then the main focal image on the front. Mine is colored in, theirs is not. But you basically can copy right out of the catalog. I did want to share with you that this stamp set and paper is a free item that you can earn by spending $100 at my online store. There are two levels, $50 and $100 level for the month of February of 2022, which is what we are in right now. It started in January and it goes till the end of this month of February, and this is the set right here. So you can get the stamp set and these gorgeous papers. See how pretty they are. And then there's also some beautiful samples that you can copy right out of this little brochure. So definitely check out my online store. You can get there by going to inkyhandswarmhearts.com and clicking on Shop with Me. I will link it in the description below. I did want to show you that in addition to using this stamp set and these beautiful papers that I earned for free, I have chosen to use a circle from the layering circle die here for my piece, and I've chosen this one here, which is the second largest circle, and that is what I am stamping my words with here. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how to make this really cute card. So we are starting with a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 inch pool party cardstock, and I'm going to fold that in half, and I'm going to use my bone folder. So it is scored at the 4.25 inch mark down this side right here. I also have these beautiful papers. I have this pretty green, and then this beautiful peach, and this pretty purple. So this is petal pink and granny apple green and fresh freesia. Those are the colors of those pieces. And let's go ahead and stamp and set the stamping aside, and then I'll go ahead and glue this together. So we're going to use our basic black ink here called Memento Tuxedo Black, and it is the basic black that I use for most of mine, especially if I'm going to use my blend markers, which you're going to see me do today. This is the ink that you will want to use for that. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my little bird, set that to the side. We are also going to stamp on this circle. We're going to use Pool Party, and I'm going to stamp the words, "Hello, friend." I did stamp something on the inside. I was going to say I didn't stamp anything on the inside, but you can't see, obviously, on a publication what's stamped on the inside. So you kind of have to use your imagination. Sometimes I stamp on there, and then sometimes I don't. So we're going to go ahead and stamp "Hello, friend." And on the inside, I stamped this pretty leaf. So let's go ahead and do that as well. In the corner, we don't know what's on the inside of theirs, right? So we'll just use our imagination. And then I'm going to use the fresh freesia, and I'm going to use a splatter stamp. I'm going to bring in a scrap here, and with the splatter stamp, I'll show you. I've got to clean all these off in a second. So it looks like paint was splattered, so it's a really cool effect. And I like using it a lot. And every time you use it, of course, it looks a little different, right? Depends on, you know, where you put your splatters and how you press them down onto your paper here. So that looks pretty good to me. Maybe one more. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and clean my stamps, get them out of our way here, out of the camera, so that we have some room to do some coloring. We are going to be using our Stampin' Blend markers. This is my chamois. It is a little bit squeaky, but it cleans perfectly well. I love it, and I have it in an old stamp case. It doesn't come in a case, and you don't have to keep yours in a case. It's just how I choose to keep mine. It helps me keep it moist. I do stamp often, and that way it keeps it moist, and I don't have to constantly be filling it up. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue our papers down. We're going to use our wet adhesive, and we're going to start with this petal pink layer. So I'm going to just wiggle some on here, go around the edges, make sure that it will stick down. Flip it over here, and we will wiggle that into place. And I love the wiggle room that this wet adhesive affords us. Next, our Granny Apple Green. You can see the backs are just as pretty, aren't they? So the nice thing is that these papers are double-sided, so you have lots of options when you are making your projects. That looks pretty awesome. And then last is our fresh freesia. And let's go ahead and get that nice and glued up here. And then we will color our cute bird. So let's go ahead and attach our fresh freesia layer. All right, so there is our pretty papers on our card. We're gonna go ahead, let's go ahead and tie the ribbon while we have the card available. We're going to go ahead and slide it to the inside here. I'm going to pull on it. We'll tie it on this side. I think I've cut way too much ribbon, but that's okay. I'd rather have too much than too little. And the first one here, I'm going to... There we go. Kind of fluff it. Since I have so much, I may do another little knot here and make it looser than the first one, so it's a little bit prettier, right? There we go. That looks pretty awesome. I'm going to grab my paper snips that I use just for ribbon, and I will trim off the excess. That looks pretty good to me. All right. The reason I use a pair just for ribbon is that paper dull scissors, and I'm going to be using some paper snips for paper, and then it does tend to dull them. So I designate one for that and one for the other. So we're going to start first with the bird, and as you can see here, I'm using these Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to use my dark Pool Party. When you purchase them, you get a light and a dark, and I'm going to start with the dark Pool Party. I'm going to stroke down these little wings on a bird. I'm also going to run a line from the beak down on the belly area here. Let's finish the wings. And I like to have a little bit of highlighting, so that's why I use the dark first. I'm going to come in here with the light, and I'm going to blend it in. So the parts that meet the light, I'm going to blend right there, and that will cause it to, you know, it bleeds into the paper, and it's just a really awesome way that it works, and it will blend that in, but yet you'll still have that dark area there. So there's my bird. Let's go ahead and do the branch next. I'm using the light Granny Apple Green. We're going to go ahead and stroke that all the way up the stem here. And then the branch, and we're going to do the leaves. We're going to color over this black section because the veining was white. And when we add this green on there, it's just like the leaves are green, right? So there is our leaves. We're going to do the centers of our flower with our dark petal pink. And then I'm going to use the dark and the light fresh freesia. I'm going to start with the dark, and I'm going to go over these lines that the artist has given us here. Just like that. And then with the light, I'm going to blend that in. Really like how it looks. That two-tone look. Once it's dry, you can see the dark accents. All right, so let's go ahead and fussy cut out our bird. And when we fussy cut, we're going to use our paper snips that we use for paper. So I'm going to start here on the branch. I'm going to work my way down the tail of this bird and come around. And I'm leaving a little white border all the way around. It's just how I like to fussy cut. I like to leave a little border. I think that it draws your eye into the black outline, and then you don't really see if there are any jagged or rough parts of your fussy cutting. It's kind of a trick of your eye. So I do like to do that. Leave a little border all the way around, and that way if you have an off day, right, and you don't fussy cut perfectly, it's really okay. And the more you fussy cut, the better you'll get. If you can see, I'm moving my paper and not really my scissors. The only time I move my scissors is if I have to bring the blade back to the end to start again because I've run out of blade. I just slide my blade, but I move my paper with my left hand. I am a right-handed person, which is why my scissor is in my right hand. But I move my paper with my left hand. I just guide it with my left. And you can see that I'm turning my paper, and I only move my blade when I get to the point here, and I have no choice because I've run out of blade, right? All right, and then let's go ahead and cut that on an angle there. So there is my bird. You see it didn't take very long to fussy cut that out. Now let's go ahead and assemble our card. We're going to use some dimensionals on the back of our bird and of our circles, so let's go ahead and add those onto our little piece right here, 2 on each of those, and I'm going to do 4 around the edges and then maybe 1 in the middle so that that piece doesn't fall. I'm going to grab my minis and I'm going to fill in a couple spots on the bird here with these small pieces, these smaller dimensionals that the large ones can't fit into those little areas, but that should be good. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool, and we will pull the backs off of all of these guys, and then we will adhere to the card. So let's go ahead and remove these guys first. Then I'll get the small ones. Come here. There we go. One more. All right. So here is our hello friend. We're going to place that right about there, maybe a little bit farther over. And then we will attach our bird. And I'm just going to tuck the little wings around. I don't want it to cover my actual words, the flower, so we'll tuck him there. That looks pretty good to me. What do you guys think? I think it turned out really well. Like I said, it was on page 14 of our January to June 2022 mini catalog. If you need a copy of that and you do not have a demonstrator, let me know. I'd be happy to send you one, and I would love to be your demonstrator. I hope that you have enjoyed watching me use this amazing bundle that you can get for free at my online store during celebration. Thank you again for watching. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments below. I will link my website in the description below so that you can check out my online store. I don't know if I gave you the dimensions, so let me give you those quickly. This main body of our card was 5.5 by 8.5 of Pool Party. Each of these strips was 1.25 by 5.25. We cut three different colors of this designer series paper. The circle here was just a scrap, but something about 2.75 by 2.75 should be able to cut that out of those dies. And then for this bird, I used about a 2 by 3 inch piece of basic white scrap that I just stamped it onto. And this ribbon was about 18 inches. You could probably go 16. It was a little long, but 18 is fine if you don't want to, if you want to have some room to really be able to tie well. But I hope that you've enjoyed watching me put this card together. I certainly have enjoyed doing it for you. And definitely subscribe to my channel so that you can check out more videos when I post them. Share my videos. I would greatly appreciate that. And give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping!